Hello and welcome to Mousecast, a podcast where the mind meets the magic. We're back, we're live, it's another Tuesday night, and hey, we're so thrilled that you are here to join us. I'm also thrilled, guess what? Megan's here, Matt's here. I feel like I should have an M name. Why do I not have an M name? I'm going to have to come up with an M name, I guess. I'll work. Hey, I got an M name. I'm Muppets. There we go. We're talking Muppets tonight. We're talking musings. I've got a lot of M words tonight. We're talking Muppets. We're talking musings, and we're talking Matt. So, Matt, tonight, it's Matt's musings. And what are you musing about?
So, Disney recently announced there's going to be 5 songs that are going to be part of the Rockin Rollercoaster re-theme with the Muppets. Song 2 by The Blur, I think originally. Born to be Wild. Love Roller Coaster. Rock Rock Till You Drop, and Walking on Sunshine. So I thought it'd be a fun idea that if we kind of just went around and what 5 songs you guys would choose to be part of this ride. So I think it'd be kind of a fun, and I want to get the chat's ideas as well. Just what do you want to? What would you do? Like, does it have to be Disney themed? Just what 5 songs do you think would fit this attraction?
Yeah, so this, I think, can be a fun time. And again, if you're in the chat, be sure to share out your thoughts and just throw out songs. As Matt said, it doesn't have to be necessarily a Disney song, but it can be any type of song that you think would be great to include. Something interesting on this list, before we jump into our own, is that you're seeing, first of all, I love the fact that it's featuring Camilla the Chicken. That alone is just hilarious. Born to be Wild is going to be unusual featuring Camilla the Chicken. How many ways can you say bok bok? But you've got, Jennifer Hudson is on this, featuring Def Leppard, Kelly Clarkson. So, I mean, there's some big names that are coming out to this. So this is a pretty cool event. And Hawk's with us as well tonight. Hawk, how are you doing?
Doing okay.
Moving along.
I think I saw also that John Stamos is going to be seen somewhere in this.
John Stamos is going to be in there. Weird Al Yankovic is going to be in there. Who else? There are several different celebrities that are going to make some cameo appearances and things like that. So, I'm actually interested to see this new Rockin' Rollercoaster starring the Muppets. Again, it's coming out in just over a month from now, May the 26th. So we'll see just how this pans out. They're still putting some of the final touches. If you've seen some of the Disney posts and things like that, they're working on some of the final animatronics. And all that, but it looks like it could be a very interesting change. I know that there's still some sadness over the fact that it's not with Aerosmith anymore, but we move forward, and so let's see how this has been done. But that brings us now to the Fab Four and our top 5 songs. So Matt, I'll let you start us out.
All right, so the first song I thought of was Enter Sandman by Metallica. Easy for me to say. The build-up to the beginning of that song, I believe that this is a launch roller coaster. I'm not a roller coaster person, so I'm going to kind of rely on...
It is a launch roller coaster. It is a linear induction roller coaster, so it does launch, yes.
Just the build-up of that song, and then once it hits, it'll just shoot you right out the gate. So it's the first song I thought of for this roller coaster. It kind of keeps that rock theme, and Metallica's one of my favorite bands. So
all the Virginia Tech fans that are listening to this right now, you're jumping up and down. You know what I'm talking about. It's Enter Sandman. Yeah. That's their
exactly.
That's their entry song. In fact, Metallica at Virginia Tech Lane Stadium. It was an amazing.
And it caused a little earthquake.
It did cause an earthquake. Yes, it did. Virginia Tech's about 40 minutes that way. We felt it here down the valley. So, yeah. So Enter Sandman, an interesting start to your top 5 songs. What do you got, Hawk? What song would you put into Rockin' Rollercoaster?
This is a weird one. This is a weird question for me because I'm really torn on the selections they made and how they're doing it. And I understand it's Disney, but do you make good songs suck by adding, not being funny? I'm not even trying to be funny with this, but do you overdo what's already a good song? Like, do you change it so much that people go the other way? And I worry a little bit about that. I understand what they're trying to do, and you definitely have to incorporate the Muppets. But my first thought when we were talking about this was actually kind of a strange Easter egg, right? Because you have a great opportunity if you're the Rockin' Rollercoaster team with Disney right now, because one of the favorite secret songs over across the way on Rip Ride Rocket was to be able to play the Rainbow Connection. And people would often play the Rainbow Connection on Rip Ride Rocket. It was a hidden song. And yes, it does make some funny looking eyes, big old googly eyes.
There you go.
But like, I like googly eyes. See, I wanted to be a Muppet tonight. That's what I'm trying to do. But my first song that came to mind, I was like, they've taken Rip Ride Rocket down. Why not use the Muppet, the Rainbow Connection song, and put it back in as a secret song? Have some sequence that you have to do or something you have to do, and it'll play that song for you. It'd be great if they could do that. But it's not independent music in the cars.
I wouldn't be surprised if it somehow, and Mark says yes, very fitting for a Muppets discussion, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if Rainbow Connection is somehow in the queue somewhere, because it doesn't. Rainbow Connection is very melodic. I don't know that it fits the theme of a roller coaster that's a lot of action and adventure, but
that's one of the things that made that so.
Tom says there is a rock version of the Rainbow Connection, and Mark Jones also says, how about a heavy metal version of Rainbow Connection? I'm sure you could rock it up.
Ride Rocket was like, I would listen to Sandstorm by Darude. I would listen to like some heavy hitting songs, high energy. But sometimes the irony of being able to choose the Rainbow Connection while you're on this intense roller coaster has this strange calming effect that's actually pretty cool. I actually did it a couple times, and I have to admit, I really enjoyed the ride. So, again, I just think that's one of those songs that was a hidden gem on Rip Ride Rocket, but would be comically ironic if, now that that's gone, Rockin' Rollercoaster included the Rainbow Connection.
Well, so here's the funny thing. I was actually going to save this one for last, but since you talked about it, I'm going to pull it out first, because I'm going with you. I'm going with a Muppets original. It is not Rainbow Connection, but it is from the Muppets movie of 2023. It is Rock On. It was a song that was created by the Muppets for the Muppets movie in 2023 that was on well, I guess not a movie, sorry, the Disney Plus series. And it was for that. So this is an Electric Mayhem original. Put it in there. Rock On. So it is a
pop up that list again, Chuck. Pop up the list of
the original list, the list that they have. Yes,
they're releasing. Yeah.
So you can see that they're doing some interesting. Like Walking on Sunshine is not super rocky, but it's very, very poppy. Tom says absolutely yes to Rock On.
That's going to be like, so Walking on Sunshine to me is going to be like the conga on Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be the song that you hope you don't get, like the song you hope you don't hear, because it doesn't really fit, right? Love Roller Coaster, I think that's a great song. Like, again, what's this version sound like? Because that's a great song. I think that'd be a great jam to go. Rock Till You Drop. If I was going to take a Def Leppard song, it wouldn't be that one. I get the point of what they're trying to do because they're trying to theme it with Rockin' Rollercoaster. I get the play on words, but I don't think that's the best choice. Born to Be Wild sounds fantastic, but with Camilla the Chicken,
well, I have a feeling it's going to be very, very not subtle, but I'm sure they're going to limit it.
I don't know. Do you remember when Guardians of the Galaxy was so excited to put in their Christmas song for the Christmas little version that they played, and that's all they played was that Christmas song, and everybody hated it so much they never brought it back.
Well, and that gets to a whole different thing about why you don't see a lot of overlays in the Magic King or in Walt Disney World because people are coming down and they want to see the original experience and not overlays. Tom had a couple of
No, but if you're going to do an overlay, Chuck, it's got to be good.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
The parties have some great overlays that they do for rides that make ride experiences amazing. You can't make crappy character-based Disney-esque songs that don't maintain their quality. And my fear in this ride is you're going to get a little too far away from what the original good song is, and it's just not going to be what Disney is looking for.
Tom says Jennifer Hudson on a roller coaster, great singer, but not what I would think of as roller coaster music. It'll be interesting to see how they try to rock up some of these songs to create that energy and pace. And so, Megan, what would be your first song that you would have on your Rockin' Rollercoaster starring the Muppets playlist? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I had background sound. I forgot about it. I'm going to go with Van Halen, and I'm going to go with Jump, because I think the Muppets could do something really fun with it, just because of their personalities and the way that works. So I'm starting with Jump.
Oh, love it. Probably might be my favorite Van Halen song. That 1984. What a great album. And I can see how in part of like Jump is that you could either have the whole band doing it or it's Animal Job, and let Animal take some of those key moments, because Animal's frankly the star of the Electric Mayhem. He just is, and so that could be a great song specifically for him. All right, Megan, we'll go in reverse order. So what's song number 2?
I'm going to go, and maybe this one's out of left field too, but it's one that I loved actually growing up. Age of Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine by Fifth Dimension. I think that would be a lot of fun. Now it's going to get stuck in your head. That is one that I will wake up singing after I've heard it. But
thanks for the earworm. We really, really appreciate that.
Exactly. Yes. You've got to have at least one of those, right?
Yeah. And it's a little bit more melodic. It is not, chuggy, classically rock. So kind of a different take. I like that. So Hawk, what about you? What would be song number 2?
See, Megan just brought one up that isn't really what I'd call it is a rock song, but it's not what I'd actually call a rock song. It's more, and I think some of those songs that could be very fun or engaging, one I wish they had used on the Guardians coaster, to be honest, is Blue Suede, Hooked on a Feeling. I just love the way that pumps up, and then kind of it's fun. You want to sing it with it. If you're going to do a Muppets-based thing, I think you need to think a little bit more in the sing-along, Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Mark says, I Can't Drive 55 will be a good one. Speaking of another, is that Van Halen? Or is that Sammy Hagar? That's Sammy Hagar before he joined Van Halen. Yep. Oh, and of course, Tom says, of course, for Hawk's purposes, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. Sorry, Hawk, Tom, that's already taken for different attractions, so we can't use that.
That would be my I will never ride Rockin' Rollercoaster again moment. So I'd be one less person in line, Tom.
All righty. Matt, what would be your second song?
So my second song is going to pay homage to the great Ozzy Osbourne, and I'm going with Crazy Train. I feel like that would just kind of it just fits perfectly. It's literally you're on a crazy train in the stars, or a crazy roller coaster. So to me, the song fits, and it once again pays homage to one of the greatest metal song lyrics that there ever was. So that was one of my other easy ones that I came up with right at the top was Crazy Train.
Yeah, Mark Jones agrees with you. He says Crazy Train is perfect, and that would be good because again, it's a good hard, very hard rocking, jamming kind of song, and also the theme of it, the tone of it, perfectly fits. Rockin' Rollercoaster. So Crazy Train would be a great match. So, alrighty, let's see here, Megan. We'll let you start.
Chuck, you got your listening number 2 there, Chuck.
Oh, I didn't get my number 2. I'm sorry. Sorry, I did. I skipped myself. So I'm kind of. Sorry, but I'm kind of going in Megan's land where, we got to also feature some of the great women rockers that are out there. And, me, it's probably going to be a little bit older. 80s rock, of course, is the best. We all know that. There's no discussion. Don't bother disagreeing with me. And so, with that, if you're going to go to one of the best 80s rockettes, rockers, is Pat Benatar and Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Just a great, and I can see this one for Janice, kind of featuring Janice and letting her kind of be the star. Mark says, yeah, animal screaming crazy.
Exactly. There you go,
would be great. See, I mean, yeah, that would be a good one. But Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Pat Benatar. I think Janice would nail that, and that would be a lot of fun and another good. It's a little bit more rocky than Age of Aquarius, but it's not super hard, kind of metally or hard rocky in that land. So I think it would be fun. I think it'd be a fun song. All right, so let's see here. Megan, why don't you start round 3?
Well, veering back in the direction that Disney has kind of started to go with, like the theming of the songs that they chose, Starship, We Built This City is my next pick. Talk about the sing-along piece of it. I don't know how many people know the verses to it, but I can hear like the entire ride vehicle just screaming, "We built this city on rock and roll."
On rock and roll, yeah. And again, another one for Animal, we built this city on rock and roll, like that. So you're going to hear a lot of Animal tonight, folks. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm sorry. I'm going to kick out a lot of Animal voice, tonight. So, that would be kind of fun because I can see how the band could really get going on that. The one interesting bit with that is there's a fair amount of instrumental kind of in between the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they would have to want to consolidate that or if it would just work. So the other thing that we don't know, which is also a challenge for this whole thing, is we don't know how long the attraction is. I would suspect that a 3.5 minute song will be more than sufficient.
It's going to be the same length as the old one.
Probably, yes. So
I don't think there's going to be much change to the ride itself.
I would doubt it. So
I don't think they're making much track adjustment, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. So let's see here. Matt, what about you?
So this one kind of came to me a little while ago, but I figured it was really fitting. And what do you usually do on a roller coaster? You raise your hands. So I'm going with Bon Jovi, Raise Your Hands.
Oh.
Another really good rock beat to it, and to me, it just fits because you're gonna want to raise your hands while you're on a roller coaster. So,
although officially Mousecast here concurs with Disney, please keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the attraction at all times. Just a reminder.
Always put your hands up on a roller coaster track.
Unless you're on Space Mountain.
Yeah, really.
I put them up on Space Mountain. I've still have my hands all these years, and I always raise them as high as I can.
It feels like you're getting ready to, but
never even come close.
There's plenty of clearance there. So, yeah, but that would be kind of cool. Raise your hands. And that's another one like Megan's that I can hear the whole car shouting, raise your hand, and like that. Yeah. And so, the whole thing, singing it, screaming it at the same time. That could be fun. All right, Hawk. What's your third?
Rock by Twisted Sister.
Oh man, you took one of mine. That's the one I said that was Animal's song all the way. Almost he could sing the whole thing solo himself, but definitely Animal going rock like that. So Animal would go crazy for I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister. So yeah, that was actually one of mine. That I actually had on my list, and there are two on my list that I thought would be absolutely the best to use, and I Want to Rock was one of them. Yeah. And so, Mark Jones says yes, absolutely, I Want to Rock, absolutely, it's very very cool. Let's see, I guess it's to me now here. Oh no, Matt, I'm sorry, you've got one.
No, it was you.
Is it me again? All right, well, I'm going to get to the other one then, and this one's going to be a little bit different. For anybody who knows me, they know I'm a Styx fan, and Rockin' the Paradise, which I think is an awesome song to play. Let's get a little bit of, late 70s, early 80s into this. Again, fits the Electric Mayhem very, very well. And Rockin' the Paradise would be a fantastic song to put in there. I love this song. This is one of my favorite Styx songs. So Rockin' the Paradise. And of course, again, it fits the whole, rockin' theme. So, yep, a lot of fun. All righty. So, Hawk, we'll let you start out.
All right. My next one would be Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Oh, I thought about that one.
Ooh, a good one. Definitely a good one. Because again, that's getting to be, AC/DC got a lot of the chuggy guitars and things like that. That would be a lot of fun. So let's see here, Matt. Go ahead.
So this one I kind of pulled out of left field. It's kind of, I'm going away from my rock theme that I've had going, and I'm going with "You Spin Me Right Round." So I feel like that song, just the beat to that, it's different, but it would go with it. And we keep
Actually,
on
that needs to be
Animal.
over Guardians, to be honest.
Dead or Alive.
That's what I thought of as well, but I was just
Yeah.
like, you know what, just for purposes, because I could hear Animal singing this constantly, especially the chorus. "You spin me right round."
Is Animal going to be
Just
the
going
only
right round and right round.
Well, they're all going to be in there, but it seems like again, Animal's the kind of the one everybody knows the most
Right.
out of the Electric Mayhem. So
Kermit the Frog would be pretty funny. Doing a little "You Spin Me Right Round." I could hear that being quite hysterically hilarious.
I can see him spinning around.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Megan.
I'm following Hawk. I'm going to AC/DC, only I'm going "You Shook Me All Night Long."
Oh.
Mark Jones has a great song.
Mark Jones says I'm going with "Fat Bottom Girls" by Queen with a cameo of Miss Piggy. Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
It goes to Mark.
This is what I'd say. That would actually fly at Universal.
I was about to say I don't know that one would make the family friendly list, but it's worth a shot. So, I'm actually going to kind of go with, let's see, who was it? One of you said Bon Jovi.
Matt.
Yeah, you said Bon Jovi, and I'm going with Bon Jovi as well, but I'm going different. I'm going "Living on a Prayer." And again, that's another one kind of to what, Megan was saying earlier. That's a song I can hear the whole car just screaming it out at the top of their lungs. And so, a lot of fun with that. So who else is still to do their fourth? Anybody?
You're it, Chuck.
That's it. So we'll take a brief, before we do our fifth one, we'll take a brief pause. I asked ChatGPT, said, all right, ChatGPT, here's the scenario. Here are these 5 songs that have been introduced. Mark says his son was at Universal just this weekend. And you've got to come up with 5 songs. You, ChatGPT, you get to choose 5 songs. So here are the 5 that ChatGPT said. Very interesting. First one they said was by Queen, "Don't Stop Me Now." ChatGPT says this is basically a roller coaster in song form. Wild tempo, big vocals, perfect for Dr. Teeth, belting while the ride launches. So kind of an interesting bit out there. Hawk, you don't like it. Tell me why.
No, I don't. I can't stand that song personally, but that's,
Yeah, well, interesting.
Fat Bottom Girls was a good one. Like, if you're gonna take Queen, I'm going that way. But,
Yeah.
that song just does not make me want to go jump on a roller coaster to hear it.
Interesting. It wasn't. I would not have put it on my list. I'll put it that way. Now, but this next song, I was gonna put on my list until I did this, and ChatGPT frankly took it from me, and that was by Joan Jett and the Blackhawks. I love rock and roll, and let Joan Jett rock this out. And ChatGPT said you can already picture Janice on lead vocals here. It's gritty, it's simple, and super catchy. Exactly the vibe. So, did I steal somebody's? No? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I love rock and roll by Joan Jett, and it's it is pretty simplistic, but this is another one yeah, you could definitely see Janice doing and just rocking out to this song. Third song that ChatGPT said, very interesting, Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. So, I don't know. It's a little bit, I don't know that it really fits myself, but ChatGPT said, hey, this is modern, punchy, and built for movement. This will sync perfectly with quick turns and high-speed sections. That might be a stretch.
My problem with that song is that it's so current. Well, it's not current, but it's still so new and so overplayed in recent years that like I just can't handle any more of it.
Wait a
It's
minute.
a huge wedding song,
Like,
a roller coaster song.
Wouldn't be overplayed. Like I've heard that song more times in my life. That's a way
Over
you
a
get
longer
almost-
period of time. Shut Up and Dance has a shorter shelf life at the moment. It hasn't been around as long. It's just
I don't know that it has reached the classic, longevity that some of these others. Mark Jones agrees. He says, I don't know about Shut Up and Dance. I would have to agree. And again, this is ChatGPT is saying this, so it tells you how much AI still has yet to learn. But ChatGPT is going very classic for its fourth song, and that is You Really Got Me by the Kinks. So a little bit different. It says raw guitar riff, instant coaster energy. Animal would absolutely go feral on the drums here, says ChatGPT. That's great, but I also want to hear Animal doing stuff. And so finally, ChatGPT is pulling out something a little bit different and pulling a song. Of course, I don't know that it knew this, but a song from Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and that is September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And that is currently in the Guardians playlist. So I would discount it because
that's one of those songs that you never mess with the original vocals. You never mess with.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You just don't change because they're as good as can be, just the way they are, and that's part of what concerns me with some of these things they're trying to do.
Yeah, Tom says it's also way too slow. Caleb says he would like to see Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus performed by Miss Piggy. That could be kind of funny. And that could be, again, I don't know if it's fast enough for a roller coaster, but that could be a funny cue song.
Well, it doesn't have to. That's one of the things that's kind of a misconception, though, I think, Chuck, because one of everybody's favorite songs on Guardians of the Galaxy is Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And that's a very slow song on a fast ride. So you don't need punchy power. And, I like it. I like the energy when I'm on a ride like that. I enjoy it. There's a lot of other people that feel very comfortable just mellowing out, going on the,
No, you got a fair point. And yeah, Mark says we should have AI write the perfect song and play it on the next show. Yeah, not going to happen, but I appreciate the sentiment, Mark. Speaking of Guardians songs, just to kind of refresh everybody, that Guardians does 6 in the loop. It's September, Disco Inferno, Conga, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, as Hawk just talked about, and One Way or Another. What's that?
Iran.
It is in there. It did not come up in a list of the search because I was trying to remember all the ones that they have done, and so yeah,
Iran by Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, it's still there.
And then One Way or Another by Blonde.
Yeah, that's the one I just said was One Way or Another. So, so with that, Hawk will let you start number 5.
So I had 2 that I had left because Rainbow Connection was kind of just it wasn't one of my 5. It was just one of those thought processes. I thought that would be a cool caveat. So I had 2 left. One was Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue, which I think would be a great one in that particular realm as well for that initial launch. It's got the whole little wind up beforehand. But my other one is an old school song that I think would just be phenomenal, done by the Muppets, because I think it's random and repetitive enough they could get away with it. And that's Black Betty by Ram Jam.
Ooh. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I like that. Oh, yeah. Animal would have a lot of fun with that one, too.
Yeah. I think either of those would work very well in there. They're not, Disney, but yeah, Mark, I agree. I just think Kickstart has a lot of opportunity to do it. I mean, obviously you're not going to play Girls, Girls, Girls because what's that?
No.
But, but Kickstart has a nice edge to it, and Black Betty just has that great, like stadium feel, and it's random enough that I've heard covers of it done or other versions that don't really bother me as much. So I think the Muppets doing a version of it would be tolerable more so than certain other songs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that. So my now fifth, because I had to kind of come up with a fifth because Hawk grabbed one of mine. So I'm going a little bit different. That's how this works. I should have been like Megan and prepared a few extra just in case.
If you say Frank Sinatra, we're shutting off the show.
No. Michael Bublé all the way. Michael Bublé. Come on now. So, but no, going to a classic 90s. I'm actually not even doing the 80s. I'm going to the 90s at least. And REM with It's the End of the World as We Know It. And just that opening riff. That's great. It starts. And, that's a headbanging song. And so, you could really work with that.
Headbanging for who?
What's that?
Who's headbanging on that one?
Well, if you're in the coaster, you're headbanging in general, but that's another story.
Yeah,
so.
that's a valid point.
Yeah.
On a coaster, you're automatically headbanging.
You're automatically headbanging. So.
I haven't seen a lot of mosh pits at REM shows, though.
Well,
In fairness.
All right, Megan, what's your last one there?
My last one is I'm going with Def Leppard, which Disney's already covered, but I'm going a different direction. I'm going to do Pour Some Sugar on Me.
I wondered about this. I looked at that, and then I was like going, are the lyrics okay enough, or is somebody going to have an issue with it? Or
I got that one. I got You Shook Me All Night Long. Disney, forget the family friendly.
This is not like a G version.
Yeah, this is not the Magic Kingdom, folks.
We just made the list of what we'd like to hear.
Yeah.
On the poster. This was not Disney approved.
Absolutely. All right, so Matt, you're going to close out our 5, and then I think you've got another little twist you're going to share with us. But close out your top 5. And by the way, folks, don't forget, if you're watching live in the chat right now, if you're not, if you're listening to us by the podcast version, why aren't you here? Come on, join us live right now. If you're in the chat, be sure to put out some of the songs that you think would be great to play in the Muppets playlist. All right, Matt?
So this one, I struggled with the 5th one. And for some reason, this song just kind of jumped into my mind because it literally has the word roller coaster in it. And it's actually from another Disney movie. And it's Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride from Lilo and Stitch. Literally, you're on a roller coaster. But just to kind of put a different twist on the song, because it does kind of have that upbeat that you could use. You could throw a little bit of rock into it and make it a little bit quicker just because of the ride. But the amount of covers that you hear with this song, to me, it just lends itself to be a good fit for this ride.
Cool. That's an interesting idea. And that's very different. And yes, it is kind of, it's right up Disney's alley because they're reusing some of their own material. So
right.
Awesome ideas. And I loved all these songs. All right. So, Matt, you said you did have one extra little something that you mentioned you were going to throw a little twist to us.
All right. So we already know that this is going to be a Muppets theme. So on top of our 5 songs, I was thinking about if Disney didn't choose the Muppets, what other Disney movie, franchise, IP would they have used instead of the Muppets? So I kind of wanted to see what other people would have thought, instead of the Muppets, what would Disney use that would have fell into this, instead of a different band per se, it's something that they actually own, so it's this easier conversion or retheme. So I want to get your thoughts and the chat's thoughts. Like, what would you guys do?
I got one.
All right, go ahead.
Iron Man, and I would have used AC/DC all through that bad boy too. But
you're assuming, of course, we've gotten the legal questions out of the way.
Yeah, no.
Look at the lawyers, Chuck. Don't worry about it. We're covered.
You have to complicate everything.
Dude, I'm building a whole fifth park. Forget about overlaying an attraction. I'm building an entire fifth park. If Marvel's clear,
episode.
I mean,
If you wanted to do something high energy, that coaster meets enough expectation. It's the only loop coaster at Disney, down here. I think you've got a great opportunity to just take a very intense ride, put a great theme on it, flying through the dark as Iron Man, listening to the music, I think it's just set up very well for it. We had talked on another show about some blue sky ideas and, like Captain America doing Tron, doing a Captain America version over there with the Tron ride. I think you've got opportunities to do things like that would be really incredible. And the music could be great. And I mean, 2 other bands on that list that could have gone in that have great songs in multiple versions, Guns N' Roses and the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit differently with this one. As you were talking about that, I had something else in mind, completely, totally different realm. But what you talked about sparked a whole different idea in me, and it led me in a whole different direction. I'm not sure what music goes with it, but I think it would. The music would be a little bit up in the air, quite literally. Okay. But that is Big Hero 6, and flying with Baymax and all of that. You do a Big Hero 6 themed coaster. There's plenty of music. Oh, absolutely, and I think that would be awesome. And you could tie plenty of different music cuts into that type of experience.
A fantastic but oft-forgotten franchise.
Very much so. And I'm hopeful one day that Big Hero 6 will return. There's plenty of IP out there. There's plenty of source material to use for Big Hero 6, and so I would love to see Baymax and Big Hero 6 make a return. Yes, and I am satisfied with my care. All right, Megan?
I'm going with a franchise that we have talked about and putting in a lot of different places, always at Hollywood Studios. I'm going High School Musical. I think you could put it in there. You've got the voices, you've got the songs, completely different feel from what it, was and what it's moving to.
But it would be so fun to put your hands up and ride with jazz hands.
That's right. The thing is, Megan, that was the one I was thinking about was High School Musical, actually. See, so there you go. Yeah. So I was thinking High School Musical and some sort of version. It gets a little bit different, but High School Musical when it was at Hollywood Studios was very, very popular. The parade was popular. Mm-hmm. The whole. Again, that's another IP that I can see still going on.
Well, and we talk about, this gap that we have, especially for the younger teenagers. Kids of all ages love High School Musical, but that tween area of like that 12 to 14, they're the ones that, they love this stuff too. And so it gives them something to look forward to, something that's maybe not specifically for them, but it certainly feels like it is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Matt. What's your re-theme?
I had a bunch, actually. I had 3. The most common ones I went with, I figured either Descendants or Zombies. Those 2 franchises. Megan, you just talked about like the tweens and stuff like that. That to me lends them, that age group. Both of those franchises I feel lends themselves to a great roller coaster, and the soundtracks to those franchises are fantastic. Like you can just use that music in the roller coaster itself. So that was my first thought. Mm-hmm. And then as we were kind of talking about underrated movies and franchises, The Incredibles to me just doesn't get enough love in Disney World, at least. So I could see flying around with
an Incredicoaster,
either Mr. Incredible or doing something with Edna Mode or something like that. To me, that lends itself to. Once again,
to a different version, because the Incredicoaster is again, it's another launching linear induction coaster, so right. There is some commonality there. So
I know the Incredibles have a presence over in Disneyland, but in Disney World,
California Adventure,
it's nothing. There's no real big presence that I kind of would like to see.
As you say that, Matt, that's something that's kind of funny too when you think about it, because Disney is one of those rare companies that actually has too much. They can't keep up with all of it, right? Universal has now reached that point as well. They're just so saturated with their own intellectual property that for them to be able to keep up with everything, they can't, and they have to think about what's actually going to hold longevity and popularity with rides and everything else. Because like we've had conversations among friends in other times about the Star Wars franchise and when that finally came. Had they not had Guardians of the Galaxy at that time, Guardians of the Galaxy would have been an amazing Star Wars coaster, like an amazing Star Wars ride. They could have done so many things, that in that mindset, and like there are so many things that you could take one IP from something else and pull it to a different place in the park and overlay that ride with a different IP, and it still works. There are so many of those rides, and unfortunately, Disney has made a habit in recent years of just overlaying a lot of rides and not changing the rides. And I think that has been an element of fan disappointment, and why in the more recent projects talked about, they're bringing in new stuff. They're taking stuff totally out. They're wiping out the Muppets area and bringing in monsters, and it's going to change the dynamic of that area in its
true transformation. Yeah,
I think there's more of that starting to happen because they saw the frustration with people that were like, "Great new ride, same ride, different paint job." Like that was getting old. The cookie cutter magnetic drive vehicles was getting old for people. People wanted to see new. They wanted to see some innovation. So I think that was one of the challenges that Disney has faced recently. But when we play the Blue Sky game on this podcast, and we have the opportunity to talk about open ideas, I mean, we could all overlay a ride 100 times with different Disney IP.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so it's easy in a sense, but there are so many franchises and so many popular aspects of Disney that have zero representation in the parks. Especially at World specifically, which is amazing for as big as it is. That's why I think, again, purists, and I'm curious to you guys' thoughts on this, like, is that part of the reasons purists begin to get a little frustrated when you start putting the same IP in multiple parks? Because now we're reaching that point where, do we really need Indiana Jones in Animal Kingdom and at Hollywood Studios?
That's the first one I thought of.
Yeah, do we need Star Wars in 3 locations where it was in the same park, or should that be condensed and unified? Does, Beauty and the Beast need to have its show and its rides and its functions together? Should they all be in one place? Should those things happen? So what are your thoughts on that? Like,
welcome, Ranger Nick 94, by the way. Welcome to the show.
Matt, I see you nodding your head. What do you think Disney needs to focus on right now to really start to make some positive changes? Because they got big competition right now. Universal's not just a redheaded stepchild anymore.
Yeah, I think people. I mean, you have the purists, like you had mentioned, and you have those people that get to go like that one. They had that one opportunity to go, and whatever research, whatever they've seen, like that's what they want to experience. But I think Disney's also conflicted with the people that go multiple times a year and they want something new, they want something fresh. And I think this is where Disney missed the ball with just creating a villain's land instead of a fifth gate. They have the room to do it. And I think that would kind of give everybody that it would please both sides, because you get those people that are going to go down for the first time and, hey, I'm going to go see this new park, this fifth gate. And then the people that have been going forever, it's just like, okay, now we have somewhere else that we can go expand, explore, and stuff like that. So to me, that's something that I feel like Disney missed on, that I think you kind of get torn on, because you see too many of the purists, like you mentioned, they cry about like, oh, they're changing this, or those first timers or the only timers, and it's like, hey, this was expected. expecting, and now it's different.
So
But at the
here's
same time, somebody like I don't know about you, Hawk, but I'm just like I'm sure some things get stale, and you're like, I could use something different or something fresh or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kind of
no, 100%. And I think now here's a question for you, because I find this interesting, and like the Villains Land announcement last year, um, there was suddenly a kind of stagnation in the details about Villains Land. And then there was some revamping and some changes. And then it was, okay, well, we're going to give the Imagineers more carte blanche to kind of get more creative because we want more. I think Disney started to realize like how important this one is to fans. Like this is the biggest thing over the last decade that's been talked about, wanted, like this has been the big push, right?
This is their answer to Epic. I mean,
So,
that's
right.
how big this is.
But do you think they're delaying right now and pulling back a little bit because there is a possibility that there's a conversation about this being a fifth gate instead of just a land?
Oh, I wish.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to be honest, because think about D23 right now, right? We're what, 2 months away? What are they going to announce? Like, are they going to re-announce Villains Land? Because that is stagnated. So what comes out for them to be able to push? If they push Villains Land this year as saying, okay, well, now we have grander plans, and these are the grander plans, and it'll be built by 2045. And it's not enough. Like, they're literally at a risk right now where I'm not saying they're going to do it. I haven't heard any rumors that that's going to happen. I haven't heard anything. But I think there is some high-level panic button going on that they know this has to be perfection. This can't be a half-assed project. This can't come out anything less than perfect. Megan, I see you going. What you got?
My concern is that they wouldn't have known that to begin with. I mean, come on. How long have we been saying we want villains? We want Maleficent's castle. We want. And did they really back in 2024 go, okay, we're announcing this thing. And then in 2025 realize, oh, wait, people are like really excited about this.
And it's not that I think they're really excited. I think they knew that. I just don't think they knew how high the expectation would be and how high the bar would be.
The wrong company. Our expectations of Disney, despite the fact that that they forced us to pull back, right? Our expectations no longer, they don't reach the levels that we had in like 2010, 2015.
What Imagineer project in the last 5 years has literally blown your doors off?
But that's what I mean. Like, our expectations of Disney have been pulled back in the last few years because they haven't delivered on things, because we haven't gotten. And so
this
for
is
them
my
to think that they're going to answer an entire new park at Epic with some little like tiny little piece thrown in the back of Magic Kingdom in the wrong place, as we've discussed many a time.
Yeah, I think the challenge becomes, are they willing to take the risk? Because there's the risk level of trying to go to a fifth gate is tremendous. Well, Universal took the risk with Epic and it paid off. I don't know that if they're willing to take that risk just yet.
Well, think about the other thing.
But here's the other risk is not taking the risk.
But Chuck, think about the other things we've talked about, right? They just built a new DVC tower. They're putting in Lakeshore Lodge. You're increasing capacity for guest count on property already in big numbers. Mm-hmm. Like, they've added a lot of rooms to property in the last 5 years. So when you're talking all this construction going on, talks of more stuff coming, like, it opens the door to say we can sustain it. And the numbers are, this year's pricing turned a lot of people off because tickets went up again.
Tickets did go up again. And a reminder that now it's been what, 2 years now, I think, that they said we're investing $6 billion, and that's billion with a B, into parks. Now, some of that is a little bit of that is Abu Dhabi, but as I understand it, not much of that $6 billion is Abu Dhabi, because that's being funded elsewhere and through other means.
Third party.
Yeah, third party thing. And so, it still remains. Rick brought up an interesting topic that I think, frankly, we're not going to talk about tonight, but I think it's the show coming up very soon. Ranger Nick says, if there was a fifth gate, meaning Villains Park, not Villains Land, but a true Villains Park, how would we set it up? Every park has different lands and sections, and so something that we will actually take to heart, and you will see coming to a Mousecast episode near you in the very near future. And as we wrap up tonight, I do have one last assignment for all of you guys. What is of the 5 songs that you chose, as we get back to Muppets and wrap up our topic tonight on the top 5 Rockin' Rollercoaster starring the Muppets tunes that we think for the playlist, what's your number one? You got to pick one and only one.
Okay, so number one that we would want to hear on the ride, or number one that we think Disney should consider?
No, the ones that you want on the ride. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put this, we're going to do a weekly poll. We're going to put a poll out this week on our Facebook page, and so you get to vote on the number one song. You get to choose the number one song out of the 4 that we'll narrow down. So what is your number one song out of the 5 that you have done? I'll start off. I'm doing Rockin' the Paradise by Styx.
I'm going to go with Jump by Van Halen.
Love it.
Black Betty, Ram Jam.
Really? I kind of thought you might do I Want to Rock by Twisted Sister. I'm sorry, what was it again?
Black Betty by Ram Jam.
Alrighty, and then Matt?
I'm going Crazy Train.
All right, so you heard it now. Go over to our Facebook page, starting in a few hours after we release this podcast, and vote on your favorite of what of the 4 that we did. And actually, you know what? Since it's 5, I'll throw one more on there. And since Hawk and I both did it, I will put in I Want to Rock from Twisted Sister, just because I think it's really good. And it's 5. And so there we go. So I'll do I Want to Rock by Twisted Sister. A little tribute to Animal there. And so vote on your poll, on the poll on our Facebook page at Mousecast 2025 on Facebook, and tell us what your favorite Ranger Nick says any song that Kermit sings. There you go. I can hear Kermit sing I Want to Rock. Anyway, so we want to we appreciate the fact that you have been with us here on Mousecast. If you're listening to us on the podcast right now, be sure to join us live. We are live every Tuesday night here on our Facebook page at Mousecast 2025, here on our YouTube channel at Mousecast. We want to have you join us live and be part of the conversation. Coming up next week, we'll announce what our show topic is. We actually have this is a 5 Tuesday month, so we'll have a special extra show coming up next Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday is the final Tuesday of the month, and of course, you know what that means. It's game night. So we want to thank you for being with us tonight. Huge thanks to all the folks that participated. Ranger Nick, Mark Jones, Tom, Caleb as well had provided some comments tonight. Thank you all so much for being with us. And don't go anywhere, because remember, this is Mousecast, a podcast where the mind meets the magic. And so until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you for listening to Mousecast. We appreciate the time you share with us. And tonight was a very fun show, and joining us is a must. This is where the mind meets the magic. We dive a little deeper every time. Theme parks, cruise ships, and travel. If you don't listen, maybe now it's time.